Welcome to GovMate's Next Gen, a podcast that will cover hot topic industry discussions as well as innovation news and technology chats regarding the ways in which small businesses and non-traditionals are driving change for government customers and the end user. GovMate's Next Gen, where innovation and collaboration collide. Hello and welcome to another Next Gen episode. Today I'm sitting down with Sandy Chen and Steve Devine of Graphene Composites for a tech talk regarding the nanomaterial engineering work their team is doing to support mission initiatives. If I've learned nothing else through getting to know many of our GovMates Nation members, it's how to pronounce some of those pretty big words. But really, these two do a great job of sharing their story and just how the work that they're doing is making a difference for their end users. As a note, any of the businesses we feature on the podcast have contact information listed in the show notes within the podcast player you are using. If you have connection opportunities in general, or questions for them, please do not hesitate to reach out to them or to me at meg@govmates.com, and I'll get you set up with introductions right away. It's what we do here. We like to connect people who are doing good work for good initiatives. Additionally, the GovMates team has been rocking and rolling lately, back in person. We're ready to get back out there, been on plenty of planes, cars, trains, automobiles, planes, right? The past few months, we've visited places like Sea Air Space at the National Harbor, Quad A in Tennessee, Suffolk in Tampa, just to name a few. If you follow us on LinkedIn already, then you are well aware of our travels. But if you don't, you are missing out. Simply type in GovMates, GOVMATES, on LinkedIn, and we will pop up right away. We do recommend that you follow us there because you'll see the things that we're doing, the places we're going, and the events that we are supporting, just in case you're there and you want to meet up, or if you weren't sure about something happening in the industry, we do try to keep that updated. Finally, we are hosting a happy hour in a couple of weeks in Arlington, Virginia for our GovMates Nation members, where they can network with other GovMates, as well as some of the representatives from large defense primes and integrators, such as Verizon Federal, General Atomics, Accenture, HII, and LMI, just to name a few. If you're going to be in the DC metro area on June 9th, 2022, and you'd like to join us, you can check out our recent post on LinkedIn for the registration link and details. The theme is Prime Another Day, but just subcontract for now. It's like a 007 sort of theme. Without further ado, that's all my notes for today as far as what is upcoming, and I will not keep you any further from my conversation with the Graphene Composites team. Today, I get to jump into my first question with not one, but two guests, which is, who are you and what makes you an expert in your industry? Sandy, I'll go ahead and jump that over to you first.
Okay, I'm Sandy Chen, the co-founder and CEO of Graphene Composites. My background is I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I have over 2 decades of experience in finance and banking as well.
Fantastic. And then I get to jump that same question. Who are you and what makes you an expert in your industry over to Stephen?
So I'm Steve Devine. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Graphene Composites. I've actually over 30 years experience as both an academic and industrialist in the nanotechnology field. Before joining Graphene Composites, I was the principal scientist in the Graphene Applications Development Lab as part of the National Formulation Centre, which is a UK-funded body, which is part of an organisation called CPI in the UK. So lots of experience in this field.
Definitely sounds like a lot of experience. And the two of you, from what I hear from your colleagues, work so well together that I am incredibly excited for today's discussion to learn a little bit more about Graphene Composites and what it is that you guys are doing. So if you could tell me a little bit about what the company is and who does it serve?
Okay, well, why don't I start? GC, Graphene Composites, has a deep expertise in working with graphene and other nanomaterials. We serve a wide range of industries, and basically what we do is make their products perform better in those industries. And Steve, do you want to go into it?
Yeah, so at the heart of our ethos, we have what we call GC Labs. So really that's all about open innovation and, having innovation experts in advanced materials as part of the company is ideal. So we can help companies either create better products or new products in themselves. So that's one of the big offerings to industry is the actual innovation expertise.
We do love that innovation buzzword around here. We do use it often. And it does sound like from some of the other conversations that I had with your team that you guys are doing a lot of cool things, which we'll get to, I think, in a couple of minutes. But just listening to some of the advancements that you all have made and have worked toward, especially given the pandemic, has been incredible incredibly impressive. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys are coming up with next.
Great. Thank you.
So the next question I have for you is, what problem are you solving for the government or the industry specifically? I know many companies have different avenues that they're working on, several streams, of course, but specifically focused on government and industry. How is it that you all are supporting them?
Well, there were two product technology areas that we're focused on, and they solve really two different problems. The first focus is we have developed a formulation that we call GC Halo that is proven to be effective against coronavirus, a bunch of other viruses, and almost all bacteria in terms of basically deactivating or killing them. And what we've applied that to is an air filter, so that simply put, we can deliver clean air. And the other area is what we call our GC Shield technology, which is an armor that is part of a patent that we have on a graphene aerogel composite that is, again, much stronger, lighter, and more resilient than existing armors. Steve, do you want to?
Yeah, I was going to say, Meg, the other thing that we have to offer to either government bodies or industry as a whole is what we were talking about a second ago with the open innovation that we have at GC Labs. So, we've got a wealth of experience in a number of very disparate fields and markets within the company. So, the ability to help organization to develop new products or or improve current products is very high with the company. And that's where we sort of aim to help organizations and companies. And this basically allows them to de-risk some of the potential product development and use the shared experience and technical knowledge to their advantage.
It looks like you're putting several facets together in order to come up with a lot of these innovative solutions that are happening here. What companies or customers are you all typically working with? Is this more of a DoD space? Are you headed out with some of the R&D spaces? Is there anybody that you all work closely with right now for whom you're making and developing these solutions for?
Well, the armor technologies are pretty obviously a DoD space. The coronavirus killing air filters, again, could be a DoD space, but there's it's hard to think of an agency that's not interested in what we're doing with that.
Definitely. And when I heard about that, the first one, that's actually one of the things that was most interesting to me was the work that you all are doing in order to, put these filters in and have them be so effective. Is it just coronavirus that they are working against, or are there other antigens that are there as well?
The way we've designed the product is that it attacks the lipid membrane on either viruses or microbes. So anything which houses this sort of lipid membrane. So we've tested against influenza A, for example. It's effective against norovirus, and then things like Staphylococcus microbes and E. coli. So anything that has that lipid membrane for the active ingredients to break down, it's effective against. And also things like black mold, the Aspergillus niger mold as well, it's very effective against. But getting it to aim towards that lipid membrane rather than sort of attacking protein spikes, for example, on the coronavirus means that we're not susceptible to any of the evolvement or changes in the viral, the spikes on the material. So we're future-proofed as well in terms of viral activity.
So unlike, say, a vaccine of some sort, which is helpful and can be changed based upon what version of the issue that we have, this is actually attacking it at the core, it sounds like.
It provides a broad range of protection against viruses, pretty much all bacteria, and even some, the molds, like black mold as well. An
advancement that's going to keep you all very busy here very shortly.
Well, you were saying, Meg, about, what problem does it solve? It's one of those things, like having clean indoor air, I think, is fundamental, really, to working better, working more safely, going back to school, going back to work, and all of that kind of stuff.
That's exactly what I was just thinking, that as people continue to return to the workplace, or people who are on front lines of things are together again, you're reintroducing some of those, for lack of a better term, germs in all stages. And so having the option to provide them with a cleaner, safer space can only bring good things, and not just in the government and industry space there. That could also probably be rolled out to schools. Imagine putting that in a school. I've got small children at my house, and I can only imagine what it would be like to know that they're breathing clean air at school 5 days a week.
Yes, exactly.
So you've got, like I said, it sounds like we got to get you guys out there and get you real busy putting this in every place.
I always remember from my academic days where you had what was called freshers flu. So the first week of term after the summer, everybody would come back and get a bad cold. And it pretty much, 90% of the student population would go down for a couple of weeks. So, it can handle all of that.
Oh, I love this and I need more. So I know we talked a little bit about a couple of things that you guys are working on. Are there is there another most impactful solution that you have developed thus far that you are excited about, or one that you are working toward currently?
I think the most important one is really the GC Halo product, the ability to really deliver clean indoor air, then pointing that technology to a number of other applications. I think what we want to focus on first is delivering that, and then in the GC Shield technology, obviously there's a pressing need for a lighter, stronger, more resilient armor technology that can be deployed in all the obvious places that you'd think of.
I think what makes the GC Halo product more impactful as well is, we've got this great technological advancement, but it's the cost of the final product as well. It's built into pretty much a standard furnace filter, for example. So, we're probably only adding somewhere between, I don't know, $10 and $20 onto the cost of a $30 or $40 filter system. So, the technology has been designed to be inclusive to everybody as well. So, whether it's a relatively low income family, for example, or a government body, it should be affordable to everybody. So that's been sort of paramount in our design ethos on this.
Yes, and that brings up another question. So I know you're supposed to change your filters at a regular interval. We're not going to talk about how often I change mine, but but is this kind of comparable to that? Does it last longer? Does it need to be changed more often because of the work that it's doing?
It's kind of been designed to last twice the lifetime of the filter it sits on. So, the type of filters we're talking about, it's anywhere between 3 to 6 months for, regular change. So, it's designed really to fit into that cycle. As the product itself sits at the moment, we've had viable samples for well over a year now, and we're in doing sort of round robin testing on them. They're still active now, so we're really confident that it'll certainly last the lifetime of the filter.
Perfect. And so what I'm hearing is that I need to make sure I get this so that I don't feel so bad when I forget to change my filter in 3 months.
Exactly.
The problem with filters though is when they start to collect the first particulates in there, they actually become slightly more efficient. So and then they drop away when it starts to build up on there. But that first bit of dust in there does actually help.
I had no idea. I've learned so much in the last few minutes. All good things there. So what is your company most excited about in the next 12 months that you can share with me? Not breaking any NDAs, not sharing any trade secrets. Is there anything that you guys are looking forward to in the next 6 to 12 months?
Well, I think it is these two technologies, the GC Halo technology, the GC Shield technology. But one of the things that we should discuss is that there are still regulatory approvals and that we need to go through to get the EPA to approve what is essentially a breakthrough technology. We don't want to cut any corners. We've done a lot of testing to make sure that it's both safe and effective. But now what we have to do as well is go through the EPA approval processes to make sure that we can actually sell it in the US.
Definitely. Is that process significantly long, or is it typical for government work?
The normal process takes 4 years.
4 years.
There is an emergency route that should be much faster, but it's sort of the normal challenge. All the challenges that you could think of are the challenges that we face in terms of getting emergency approvals, getting it fast tracked, and all that kind of stuff.
Of course.
We've also got some very exciting research taking place at the moment as well, which actually enhances the two sort of product ranges we have now. So if you take the shield, for example, we can make some very subtle changes to the technology that's in that shield and make very lightweight, load-bearing composite structures which have extraordinary vibration dampening properties in there. So at the moment, we're working with a local university to actually get some figures on that, so we can go to industry, particularly aerospace industry, with this very new, very lightweight material, which can certainly handle quite a lot of load in there. And we've got this marvelous antiviral coating. We're now working on ways of making that coating more robust. It lasts on a filter, for example, and doesn't wear off. But put it onto an iPad
a high-touch
glass
surface
on there, and at the moment our current technology sort of wears off within a week. So we need to pull that out and get that so it lasts six to 8 months.
And when this becomes something that is approved through the entire process, where do you anticipate that being available? Is that something where like you're going to be able to go to a Target for that, or is that going to be like a government only sort of thing?
No, well, we're working with a range of partners and customers. One of the things that we want to emphasize is that we will work in partnership. We don't want to be making air filters ourselves, so we're working with air filter manufacturers. We don't want to make bulletproof shields, actually. So what we'll do is work with partners that can help us manufacture those shields, incorporating our technologies. And the more we can do that, the more time we have to devote to really, developing the next breakthrough technology.
Perfect. Are you all currently seeking partners? Are you looking for new partners, or are you pretty much all buttoned up?
I think we're always looking for partners. We have good established partnerships, and we have a very close collaborative way of working with our partners as well. We're always looking for people that partners that can help us kind of expand the reach, the scale, and the breadth of what we're doing.
That sounds great. So if there's somebody out there who's listening and would like to get a hold of the two of you, what would be the best way for the audience to connect with you?
Well, they can look at our website, and there are contact details on the website. It also gives an overview of several of the sort of public-facing technologies like GC Halo and GC Shield. And in addition, if there's an interest that they have, what Steve was talking about, our GC Labs kind of innovation incubator, that's also someplace that they could approach us directly for. To kind of help them with an idea.
Perfect. And we'll make sure that we add the website address and things like that into the show notes. So should anybody want to get to you all, we'll make that really super easy for them. As you all are continuing to innovate and research and put things together and do all of these things in the process, I imagine that does bring about it an area or an opportunity for growth. Do you all have hiring opportunities right now? Are you looking for new team members, or is that something that you're hoping to do in the future?
Well, we were just talking about that today, weren't we, Steve?
Yeah, so we've just hired an expert in sort of coating and printed electronics technologies. So they'll be starting in July time, and we're sort of currently looking to increase the staff numbers with sort of a lab technician stroke lab manager as well. So yes, definitely growing as a team. Definitely have the work now to keep everybody very busy.
Perfect. We're all about growth and making sure that continues to go in an upward trajectory. So if ever something happens and you decide that you need, a lot of people at a quick pace, you let us know and we'll definitely put the word out for you.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
I think the way as well we innovate with partners as well, that's just within sort of GC Labs that we're expanding. We're doing a lot of work with filter manufacturers who are developing new processes and new coating technologies, etc. So it's not just within our company itself; it's within our whole supply chain that this is affecting.
I can imagine that, and especially with the hits that supply chain have taken over the past few months, half a year. it's always good to see that people are kind of working together in order to bolster that once again. So that brings me to one of the last questions I have for you today, which is, what challenge do you see facing your industry that needs immediate solutions? And either one of you can jump in on that one first, but I would love to hear thoughts from both of you.
I think the key immediate challenge for our GC Halo product is making sure we get through the regulatory approval processes as quickly as we can, because it not to be sort of over the top, but it costs lives to delay, and that's probably what I'd see as our main challenge. Steve, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, we've recently had the indoor air quality initiative from the White House, which is great. You'd think we'd written some parts of it. It's so applicable to our GC Halo technology, but what we're not getting is sort of clarity from organizations such as the EPA on, our product is effectively classified as a insecticide on there. So, how does that relate to trying to get it through as a filter system in a sort of non-farming, for want of a better term, example? So what we sort of lack at the moment is the clarity of where this is going.
That doesn't surprise me at all, especially since a lot of the processes and like you said, the way that things are categorized tend to be a little bit antiquated at times. As new technologies are developed, I think it is hard for them to be placed appropriately, especially the first time. So really combating that. And I think there's a little bit of education there that has to happen with both, customers and agencies and things like that. Not necessarily that burden is placed all on the small business, but often as they develop those technologies, I do think that it comes with a little bit of that burden of education in order to say, hey, this is why this is important. This is how it's important. And this is why it's going to do a really good job.
Yeah, we're working quite hard towards helping develop the protocols that's needed for this as well. So it's a two-way thing. But
I mean, EPA have been helpful. It's just that I think the whole structure, the regulatory approval process has been, it's by nature quite cumbersome.
Of course. And because we don't want to put everything through, we want to put the best things through. So that it does make sense, though it is a little bit of a burden.
Yeah.
But really that kind of gives a nod to that partnership and making sure that you've got people in there who are really looking forward to working together on both sides.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, in large part, it's not about disagreement. It's that we all want to do the same thing. I mean, these two key challenges that our GC Halo and our GC Shield technologies are addressing, everyone wants. Right. And so what we need to do is really just coordinate and work together better, I think.
Yeah, you're doing good things. So it's just working through and getting the pieces in place in order to streamline that once it's all approved and ready to go. Well, great. Sandy, Steve, thank you so much for joining me today and giving us a little bit of a tour of what it is that you all do.
Thank you. Thanks for the time.
Yes.
Thank you again to the GC team for joining me today and sharing a little bit about what they've been developing, especially in light of the new challenges that seem to pop up almost daily. I look forward to what comes next for them and hearing how their developments can apply far and wide. Just that conversation kind of got my brain going as to what could possibly come next. We do have a few more episodes coming here in season 1, but if you would like your innovative technology featured here in a Tech Talk, let me know and we will work to get you on the schedule. If there's nothing else, I will see you on the next episode, and until then, have a great week. This podcast is brought to you by GovMates, a technology scouting platform for innovation, collaboration, and acceleration in the federal space. We appreciate that you're along for the ride and would like to invite you to leave a favorable review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you enjoy listening. To suggest future guests or for any questions, please email meg@govmates.com. For more information about GovMates, you can visit us at govmates.com.